Whatever juices Lisa Bonet got, Nivea got them too. And I need to know, how can I get them, okay? Hey everybody, welcome back to the Brenda Yvonne channel. Of course, I'm your girl Brenda Yvonne. Here at my channel, we do fun reviews, recaps, and discussions of all of our favorite shows. Y'all, this is a brand new show we are talking about. This is Queen's Court. They dropped all the episodes of the first season on Peacock. I imagine we only gonna get one season anyway, just because of the nature of the show. But hopefully we will get two. They could throw out 3 new celebrities. That would be dope. So yeah, first of all, if y'all haven't already, check out Queen's Court on Peacock. All the episodes are out. I believe it's 10 episodes. So I did decide that I would just go episode by episode. Y'all know I'm a teacher. I'm on my spring break, so I got time. So I'm actually glad they dropped all 10 episodes. Normally, I don't like to do... Let me start that over. Normally, I don't like when certain shows like Love is Blind or whatever drops all the episodes at once, because then I kind of sometimes get discouraged to do every single episode. But luckily, I've been doing good. Like the Best Man movie came out during my winter break, so I was able to do all those episodes. And this Queen's Court, I'm glad it came out during my spring break, because I have way more time to do videos when I'm not working. And so it actually worked out better that they did do all the episodes, so I could do a review for every episode just for y'all, so we could just enjoy it one at a time, okay? Don't forget to like, comment, subscribe, and share, especially if you're new to the channel. Go on and click subscribe, go on and like the video, go on and share, and please comment down below once you subscribe. Let me know that you join the family over here, and say, hey, let me know where you're from. Let me know what content you enjoy. You know, let me know what you think about the Queen's Court especially. So let's get into this show, y'all. So first of all, Queen's Court is a new show on Peacock. Like I said, it dropped today. I have been anticipating this. I had already planned to review it. Y'all know I love me some Flavor of Love from back in the day. Some I Love New York. All them good shows they used to have. I've never been a big Bachelorette fan, but all them shows I was definitely into. So that's what it kind of gave me, that nostalgia of those shows. Okay, so basically the premise of the show. First of all, this is season 1, episode 1. Like I said, I believe it's titled All Hail the Queen. So, this first episode is kind of just laying the groundwork, of course. So, we have Nivea, R&B singer Nivea. We have Evelyn Lozada from Basketball Wives. And we have Tamar Braxton, okay? So, they're all 3 queens looking for love. So, they have Holly Robinson Pete and her husband Rodney Pete on the show as their, like, advisors, okay? So show opens up showing all the ladies, they're kind of in their confessionals talking about how they went through some, you know, hardships in love and life, and they're ready for their queen. Tamar says like she's ready to put away childish things. She's ready to really, you know, do something real. She's ready for her prince. She's like, or should I be looking for a king? Evelyn, you know, she's went through some hard physical, verbal abuse. She's ready to find love. Nivea says she has an addicting personality, and she's trying to work on that. She learned that she will immediately attach herself and be open to something and become like too toxically involved in it. So she's trying to really work on that. And she realized the toxicity lied in her. So I will say I can see the growth of all 3 of these ladies based on what we have known they have been through the last several years. We've watched them, like Tamar. I could definitely see the growth of Tamar. We're going to talk about that later. Evelyn, I can see some growth at Evelyn. I'm going to let some things go with Evelyn. Let me tell y'all that. As I get into these reviews, I'm going to have to let some things go with Evelyn, because I would love hate for Evelyn, y'all. I don't hate her, okay? All the way. No, I don't hate her. There's a certain thing she did and does that annoys me, but I always loved her style. The way she dressed, the way she looked, I was always here for Evelyn. You know, I was always here for her on Basketball Wives, but some of that behavior was like, girl. Nivea, we know everything Nivea has went through, from being married to the dream, being with Lil Wayne, different other issues she also went through. I didn't hit my lip, y'all. Anyway, so the ladies are talking about all that. Okay, so they sit down with Holly Robinson Pete and her husband Rodney Pete, and Holly Robinson is giving them they, you know, kudos, like, yeah, y'all is killing it in the game. Y'all doing big things. Y'all are queens, but you don't got no king. You need to get your love life together. She's like, so that's why we are here to help you as your advisors. The Peace let us know they have been married 27 years. And Rodney said, of course, it's not been easy. You know, I was a quarterback football player, and I played in the NFL for a long time. I forgot what team he played for. And, you know, Holly Robinson Pete is an actress. I remember the episode of Hanging with Mr. Cooper. Okay, that's the show I used to watch as a kid. Y'all, telling my age. So, that was a show from like the 90s. And I remember the episode when he proposed to her on one of the episodes. So they've really been together a long time. They've had their own reality shows about their life and their family as well. They have a beautiful family. I love the Pete's. So, the Pete's let them know, like, okay, tonight we got to have a masquerade ball. You will be in mask, and all the men. I believe it was 7 or 8 men coming, and they will be in masks as well. Get to know the men, and then you're going to choose, each of them have to choose 2 men to take on a date, like the next day or whatever, okay? And then at the very end, they're going to have the elimination dinner, okay? So we'll talk more about that later. So, the men, and I don't have pictures of the men, y'all. If I can find some, I'll throw them in here, but I could not find them yet. So we had Tony. He was 54 years old. He was like one of the only ones with the gray hair. He was like a silver fox, a zaddy. But when he opened his mouth, I was like, oh, no zaddy here from me. Then we had Gatsby, whose real name we learned later on is Kobe. He talked too much. We're going to talk about that. We also had Puff. Puff was cool. We had Mac. We had JR. Okay, he was a wild card. We also had Nathan. We had Rayshawn. Who else did we have? Michael, and I feel like I'm forgetting somebody, but I think I got everybody actually. Did I say Puff? Yeah. Yeah, I think I got everybody actually. Okay, so anyway. So ladies are mixing and mingling. I forgot who it was that was complimenting Tamar on her velvet dress. JR really liked Tamar's dress as well. We did see JR and Evelyn speaking, and he let Evelyn know that he had 5 kids. She was like, well, how many baby mamas? He said 4. Evelyn was like, oh no, that's a red flag, all them baby mamas. So and I was turned off by JR initially as well. So I'm like, that's doing too much, JR. Like, what you got going on, JR? So, but later on, he reframed that real quick with Tamar. He said that, you know, he had she was letting him know she has a 9-year-old. And he was like, yeah, I got 5 kids. And so she was like, 5 kids now, like, you know, are they all the same mom? And he was like, I have 1 ex-wife and 3 baby mamas. I said, you better reframe that, JR. And so she was like, how does that all work out? And he's like, you know, I spend time with all of them. They know that I am, you know, at the center of their life. I will be there at a drop of a dime for them. I am there for them. And so Tamar does ask JR on a date. Okay, I think that's one of the first people she did ask, because he was like, oh, look at me, JR and Tamar together. Like, JR is smooth with it. JR shocked me and impressed me. Let me know if he did the same for y'all in the comments. Side note, before we go any further and I forget, I seen on the Shade Room today that Tamar, they posted a picture saying Tamar is engaged, and I believe it's to JR. It looks like JR the picture. And it seemed like I remember seeing photos of her out with a white man, and I'm thinking that must have been JR. And I'm like, hello, Queen's Court. You're not supposed to do the reveal till after the show aired. Like, what's happening? Because now we already know what's going to happen at the end, and that kind of ruins us watching the show. I mean, we still gonna watch it, and hopefully y'all still watch it, and hopefully y'all still get into this reviews. But I'm just saying, we ain't supposed to know until the filming is done and all the episodes is done. And then you revealed an end that you and JR are still together. Like, what's happening? Did I see Evelyn is engaged to somebody? I couldn't tell if it was Puff or Mac. I didn't see an engagement post about Nivea, but if y'all did, let me know in the comments. But yeah, that was just crazy to me. Like, what is happening? Y'all not supposed to tell us that. Like, what's going on? So anyway, back to the masquerade ball. So let's see. We saw Nathan and Nivea talking. Nathan and Nivea were really vibing. Nathan is 37, I believe. We saw Nivea also speaking to Mac later on. So, and Michael, I don't know why, but Michael looked like Kevin to me, and I wanted to call him Kevin all night. Anyway, so Nivea did ask Nathan on a date, but then she was over there talking to Mac, right? And her and Mac were really bonding about their childhood, and she said that, yeah, her parents were around, but, you know, they both was on crack, and she was raised by her grandmother and her great-grandmother, and Mac was like, I was raised by my great-grandmother too, and they was just really vibing on a lot of similarities of their backgrounds and everything. So then she was like, hold on a second. So Nivea is hilarious, by the way. Nivea is her through and through. Nivea walked back over to Nathan and said, sorry, I'm gonna have to take that date back, actually. He was like, dang, I'm kind of crushed, but he was like, you know, champagne heals the pain. So he drank him some champagne to get over it. She went back over to the Mac to ask him on a date. Nivea also ended up talking to Michael. I forgot Michael's age. I want to say he was 43. And she asked Michael on a date. I think she asked Michael on a date first, if I'm not mistaken. Across the room, we see Evelyn talking to Rayshawn. He was asking her a lot of good questions about, like, her kids and how's that. So Evelyn has her 29-year-old daughter. Remember her daughter from Basketball Wives. When I think of certain things, Evelyn Lozada, I can't help but think of Basketball Wives, y'all. So when she mentioned her daughter, and then think about all the drama, how they said she wasn't raising her daughter, and the daughter had to write the checks, and Jackie called her a Build-A-Bear and all that. But we gonna leave all that Basketball Wives foolishness in the past, y'all. We're going to leave it in the past. I'm sorry, Miss Evelyn. I'm sorry. So anyway, but she liked Rayshawn's conversation. You know, she was like, yeah, now my daughter is my best friend and all that good stuff. And so she said her son is 9. He's really into sports. His dad was a baseball player. We know that, you know, Evelyn, did she marry that baseball player? I can't remember if she married him or not. I didn't really get into her show she had on that Evelyn Lozada show, so I can't remember. Drop down in the comments if I don't think she married the baseball player. I think she was engaged to him, but I don't think she married him. Anyway, but Evelyn gonna find her a pro athlete. I ain't mad at it, Evelyn, okay? So anywho, then let's see. Evelyn couldn't get past the hair of Rayshawn, and neither could I. She was talking to Michael. She asked Michael on a date. He was like, oh, I would love to. However, I take a rain check because Nivea already asked me on a date. Evelyn was taken aback because, you know, she thought she was better than Nivea. That's what it was. No shade. Anyway, she was like, I'm just really shocked because, you know, Nivea, like Michael, Lil Wayne, like I would never have thought that's who she would go for, but I'm glad she stepped out her type. First of all, Nivea was married to the Dream and engaged to Lil Wayne twice, had a kid with Lil Wayne. She ain't got no type. Nivea ain't got no type, okay? She ain't got no type. If you go from the Dream to Lil Wayne, you ain't got no type. Okay, so don't do her, Evelyn. The ladies also shared that, you know, they've never asked a man out on a date before, so that was new for them. Something they had to do to step out their comfort zone, and I could definitely relate to that. So, let's see, Evelyn, who else? She's ended up talking to Puff. Her and Puff had a good conversation. I want to say Puff is like 37 also. A lot of 37-year-olds. And she did ask him on a date. And so, I'm not sure how I feel about Puff's hair. That's why I'm on the fence with Puff. Yeah. So anyway, then she talked to Nathan. Because remember, Nathan got rejected by Nivea. She gave a date and took it right on back. So she talked to Nathan. Evelyn and Nathan both had that New York thing. She's from the Bronx and all that. And he also was from New York. He said by way of Antigua Bay, because somebody, I think it was Nivea, noticed his accent. I never noticed his accent. And so Evelyn and Nathan did connect on that whole New York thing, and she did end up asking him for a date, and he agreed to go on the date. So the Pete's, so I went out of order, y'all, but that's what I do. If you're new to my channel, I go a little out of order, but that's what I like to do. So in the middle of the mixing and the mingling, right, the Pete sat all the men down and the ladies down, and they said, okay, you know, it's time to reveal who you are. So the men took off their mask, and so the ladies seemed pleased. And so the ladies also had to reveal their masks. And so the men were like, oh, okay. And so they did show different confessionals of, I think it was Puff said, oh, that's laundry, you know, that's laundry room, Nivea. And I'm assuming all the men already knew who the ladies were. I'm assuming so. Puff said, I can't believe, I was talking to Evelyn. Somebody mentioned something about Tamar as well. So they continued in the party, and everything I already said pretty much happened. They got their dates together. So, I did miss, Gatsby. Let me get back to Gatsby before I wrap up the party scene, y'all. So, Gatsby was sitting down talking to Evelyn. I believe this was after the masks were off. And he was like, oh, yeah, I live in Hollywood, but I'm from Tennessee, but I'm not one of them Hollywood brothers. And, I got a ranch in Tennessee, and I got a horse, and you can come ride my horse. And, I got all this stuff, and I could do this and that. And Evelyn was just looking like, please be quiet. And I was the same way I was looking, like, you doing the most, sir. Like, you trying to show off. Like, nobody cares. Please stop. And she was like, I am not buying anything you were selling. Like, no. And he's like, no, I can get with that. It's fine. It's fine. So it was like, what are you doing or saying? So then later on, we saw Gatsby sitting down with Tamar. And so, by the way, Gatsby was like, oh yeah, Gatsby, Randall, whatever, Lozada. He was putting the names together. He was just doing too much. So he was obnoxious and annoying. And Tamar recognized that real quick because that used to be her, she said. She said it, y'all, not me. She said it. And y'all used to watch Tamar Braxton Family Values, the way Tamar used to be. Okay, come on now. So anyway, so Tamar was sitting down next to Gatsby, and Gatsby was doing all his extra stuff, and Tamar was like you crazy, like, okay. Like, she was kind of laughing at him, enjoying it. And so then Evelyn walked through, and she was like, oh, are you guys going on a date? And then she was like, well, I guess so. So she asked Gatsby, does he want to go on a date? And he said, yes, of course. And Evelyn said in a confessional, like, I pushed Gatsby on to Tamar. They could be a match made in heaven, or Tamar could be in jail next week. And I'm like, yeah, not a match made in heaven. But thank you, Evelyn. Evelyn up there talking about, yeah, I had to help her because she kind of shy. I was like, well, you wrong for that. Evelyn also said she didn't realize, like, she would be competing with other women, but she kind of is in this situation. And yeah, they kind of are competing for the same men, but they got a large pool to choose from. So we ain't got to compete too hard, but there probably will be some competition because we already saw a little bit in the first episode, right? So, okay, so then the next day, the lady's sitting on the sofa having their coffee, discussing. So Tamar asked Nivea, like, have you talked to Wayne about you being in this process and all this stuff? And I was like, why she got to talk to Wayne? But I guess because, they have kids together and all that. And so she was like, yeah, Wayne. She's like, I don't really talk to Wayne about that. Like, he doesn't really care about my love life or who I'm dating like that. She's like, but I did talk to the Dream because last year I was in a situation and I got my heart broken, and she was like telling him like, oh my God, I never felt the way I did like this, like I did with you, and all this stuff. And she does let us know in the confessional that, she was engaged to Lil Wayne twice and had a baby with him, her youngest son. And then she was married to the Dream for, I forgot how many years they were married. She was married to the Dream before she had her baby with Wayne. And I'm like, you know what, Nivea got the same good that Lisa Bonet got, okay? That's all I'm saying. Nivea got the same, whatever juices Lisa Bonet got, Nivea got them too. And I need to know, how can I get them, okay? Nivea don't even got to work no more, y'all. If your kid, I think she got 3 or 4 kids by the Dream, y'all. Like, your kid's father is the Dream. He's a hit maker. He don't even got to make songs no more. He didn't produced and written for Beyonce and all kind of artists. Then you got a baby Lil Wayne, like, Nivea, you gone, girl. Okay, so, but we do want the music, Nivea. Don't get me wrong. We want the music. I'm glad Nivea seems to be doing better in life in general as well. So, anywho, so they did that little package. Then Evelyn was like, yeah, it's really hard. Evelyn had let us know in the beginning too that she's ready for love, but she does have that fear of letting her walls down. And Tamar kind of expressed the same thing. Tamar was in a relationship for many years, married to Vincent Herbert. And y'all remember, Braxton Family Values, how that all played out. Then she was in the relationship with David. I can't think of his last name or know how to pronounce it. And that didn't work out. And she said it was really hard. She dated somebody in the industry, somebody outside the industry. She don't want to do it again. She also let us know in one of her confessionals that she like executives. I said, me too, girl. And she likes astute men, like educated man. Okay, so she said, you know, it was hard. I guess basically with David, like it was hard because then he was thrown into the limelight and everything that was happening. She or he was blaming her, saying like, you know, people wouldn't even know who I am if it wasn't for you, and she just don't want to deal with that no more. And yeah, that's too bad. Like he couldn't handle that. So their situation was a hot mess. Anyway, I stopped watching the last few seasons of the Braxton Family Values also. So anywho, but that used to be my show, y'all. So anyway, Evelyn talked about how she was engaged 3 times, I believe, and she said, I guess married once. I was married 45 days. So she's not trying to claim Ocho Cinco at all. By the way, he's engaged to marry somebody else. I'm not sure if he married her yet or not. She was like, yeah, I was physically, emotionally, mentally abused. And she started crying her confessional, talking about, you know, I knew I ran, and if I went back in that house and, you know, I was going to end up dead. You know, I'm glad Evelyn got it out of that situation. I don't want to say anything offensive to anyone who's been in domestic violence situations. I'm not in Evelyn's shoes. I don't know what she went through. We saw a lot of that play out on TV as well. I remember Yana Fixed My Life. That was like one of the first episodes of like the first season or the second season of Yana Fixed My Life, when Evelyn was told her remember when Iyanla told Evelyn, you in danger, girl? Remember that? Okay, so, but Evelyn learned her lesson from that situation, and, you know, she's moved on. Ocho Cinco's moved on. I'm glad Evelyn, you know, was able to rise above all that. Anyway, so the ladies are going on their dates. So let's see who we saw first. Nivea. Let's talk about Nivea's date first, y'all. So Nivea goes to like a wine bar kind of place where they're tasting aphrodisiacs with her 2 dates, Mac and Michael. So they're all, it looks like the men are just feeding Nivea. Nivea's like, ooh, this is good. She just sitting there eating. I was like, okay, Nivea, I want to be you right now, girl. They had oysters, they had cherries, they had chocolate. They had all kind of stuff, y'all. So Michael, I told you I wanted to call him Kevin. Michael was feeding Nivea everything, feeding her them cherries. He was like, yeah, I really am intrigued by Nivea. She's really cool, and she really like her cherries. I was like, oh, Mac was like, he wasn't even there. And so Nivea ends up sitting down with the 2 men individually. And so she sat down with Mac first, and he was like, what made you choose me? And she was like, basically, you know, you were just chill, you weren't doing too much, and I really like that. And you know, they're talking about how they like each other and all that. And so, and some of the things they went through, and Max said he does poetry. She was like, okay, let me hear. So he started reciting this spoken word, y'all. It was a little nasty spoken word too, about, you know, all the things he gonna do sexually, tie you up, turn you out, and all that. Nivea was like cracking up about it in the confessional. Yeah, it was cute, Mac. It was cute. He said it's a whole book. So y'all check out Mac's book of poetry if y'all into that. So then she sat down with Kevin, and she was asking him, what does he do? And Kevin said he's an architect, and Nivea was really impressed with that. That's a good job, okay? He said, but in the weekends he's a chef, so he likes to cook on the weekends. And I'm assuming he cooks professionally. I'm not really sure, though. And she's like, oh, wow, I'm really intrigued now. So she asked, why didn't his last relationship work out? Like, what happened? So he said that he cheated, basically. You know, he made a mistake. And then she was like, what happened? Why? And he didn't really fully explain why he cheated, but she's like, well, at least you were honest with her and all that. I think he said things weren't working out, and instead of like talking to her about it, he cheated. I think that's what he said. Let me know in the comments if I had that right. But anyway, she was like, oh man, she was happy that you know, told the truth about it. He was like, no, she was not happy. Like, it was not a good moment. Okay. Okay. So let's go on to Evelyn's date. So Evelyn took the 2 men to an art gallery. She's like, do you guys like art, right? And Nathan was like, you know, he's saying yes, he does, but he said it like in his weird, like little funny accent, and to make Evelyn laugh. And he was cool. Okay, so y'all, I liked Nathan at first, and when I got to the end of the show, I was questioning my whole life, like, why did I like Nathan? And he turned out to be a hot mess. Why? I was questioning myself. So, Nathan and Puff had to draw Evelyn. She's like, you two are going to paint me today, basically. And so she sat down on the sofa and they were drawing. I was like, oh, these pictures about to be a hot mess because both of them are not giving artists. So Puff did like more of a literal interpretation, but it looked a hot mess, like a 5-year-old did it, okay? And so he had Be Mine or something on there. Nathan had like talking about this is your heart, and this is the center of the universe. And basically all he did was do the blue circle of paint, a yellow, a green, and red in the middle. And talking about, yeah, because you are the center of the universe, and this was the energy and the aura you was putting out. He made it sound all good. She's like, oh my God, and gave him a hug. She was laughing at Puff's picture. She was like, do you think that's what my lashes look like? So she had her one-on-ones with the guys. And so she told Puff to sit on down right there. She took Nathan down. By the way, I love Evelyn's outfit, y'all. So she took Nathan to wherever the hell they went, y'all. So her and Nathan sat and talked, and she was asking, like, why didn't your last relationship work out? He said that it lasted for like 2 years, but he kind of stopped paying attention to her, and they kind of grew apart, and he learned, that he has to pay attention to those who he loves. Been there, done that. She let him know that I really like you. I really vibe with you. You seem really cool. Like, reminded her of one of her homeboys in New York. So she really liked that about Nathan. And so they seem to have a good, cute vibe. I liked it too. We're going to learn at the end why we shouldn't have liked it, y'all. Then she did talk with Puff, and Puff said that, his last relationship didn't work. It was like a 2-year relationship. He thought that was going to be the woman that he was going to marry. And so he, really wants that family with someone. Family means a lot to him. Evelyn has her 9-year-old son, and he said he has a kid and family's important to him. Evelyn said she feels the same way. She said, I picked you because, you were super cool, your vibe at the party and all that. And so, then he's like, I'll let you know something. Let me just be transparent. So in my mind, I'm like, what is Puff about to say? My mind was thinking all kind of crazy stuff, y'all. Oh, okay, all kinds of crazy stuff. He gonna sit up there and say, I got a foot fetish. And she's like, okay, well, what you think of these? Showing her feet. And he's like, yeah, I already peeped your feet. And the confessional, Evelyn was like, ooh, I don't know about that. I was like, Evelyn, give him a chance, okay? I used to talk to this dude. This is way back in college, y'all. And he did not live in the same state as me, so I never even met him. But I used to talk to this guy that had a foot fetish, and I had to send him pictures and put on all these different heels and stuff. It was exhausting. So actually, I'm going to change my mind. Evelyn, don't give him a chance, girl. No foot fetishes over here, okay? So it's exhausting, y'all. It really is. Anywho, then we get down to Tamar's date. So Tamar took Gatsby, aka Colby, and JR to this, I don't even know what kind of place it was. Was it a bakery or something? But it was real fancy. They basically went to an empty room. They might have still been down to the mansion, really. But basically, they were cake decorating. They had all these sweets and treats and toppings, and they were going to decorate these 2 cakes. So Gatsby came in with his flowers. And, not Gatsby. JR came in with roses, and he came in real smooth. And he's like, oh, we get to, do this again, JR and Tamar. And so Gatsby in his confession was like, oh, JR coming in with gifts. He's like, you can't buy love, though. So they were decorating the cakes and popping the champagne and all that. And so Gatsby, he got a bunch of cookies and junk all over his cake. It looked a mess. JR was decorating his cake with sprinkles. Like, it looked really, really nice. And so in the confessional, Gatsby was like, yeah, JR's cake, he's like white privilege. He's like, my cake is a civil rights cake. It's a struggle cake. Also, side note, JR let us know earlier in the episode of sometime that he, when back, 20 years ago, however many years ago, he was a 2-time felon, had 2 gold teeth in his mouth, and he got into the Marines and changed his life around, okay? So now, he's got name brands and all that, but he went through a lot. He said that his mom was a heroin addict. He didn't have a dad in his life. So that's kind of how he ended up having all the kids and the baby mamas and all that. I think that is when him and Tamar were actually kind of talking in that scene. So And that's good to know about JR. I said JR was white without the privilege of life, wasn't he? So anyway, JR had a hard life, okay? But anyway, and he's from New Orleans, by the way, y'all. So, JR asked Tamar, does she like chocolate or vanilla? She's like, depending on the day. And he was like, okay, well, let's see if we get you on the more the vanilla side. And she, Gatsby talking about, oh, yeah, you gonna want all these ingredients in this cake over here. She was like, would that reflect our relationship? Because that's looking like a mess. And JR was like, yeah, we don't need that in our life. Tamar wants something simple, something easy, all this. And so even Gatsby in the confessional was like, yeah, that JR, he like the smooth, blue-eyed soul brother over there. Like, he real smooth with it. He was like, yeah, I see it. So JR is very, very smooth. He has like this quiet confidence about him. Yeah, we watching you, JR. So, anyway, Tamar, like I said, she did end up sitting. Oh, she needed a champagne bottle popped. So she's like, can you guys pop the champagne? And she all leaning over like, oh, don't pop it on me. And so JR grabbed it. Gatsby came over there trying to grab it, but JR was like, like, you don't know what you're doing, okay? So JR, y'all, I'm going to use this bottle that I'm probably not going to open. But anyway, and he was like holding it close to him. And he was like, see what you got to do. He was like, I was a ex-Marine Corps, whatever he said, combat in the Marines. Like, I would never like let it hurt you and pop you. And he held it some kind of way and then just took it off and it didn't explode. And I was like, can we all learn to do that like JR? Because that'd be my fear when I'm popping champagne, that it's going to pop on me. And you know how the champagne, when you pop it, all the bubblies come out. So I was like, show me the way, JR. Okay, even Gatsby was impressed with that. So anyway, so like I said, Tamar sat down and talked to JR, and so he was letting her know, about his past and everything he's been through and all that, and he was talking about his mom, and he said, it's funny. He was like, me and you have something we relate to with the cancer. So I'm assuming he already knew Tamar as well, because we know her sister Tracy died of cancer. I still can't believe Tracy died, y'all. So JR was saying, yeah, when my mom died, it was just me and my mom in the casket there. And then a hummingbird came, and the hummingbird just sat on the casket. And he was like, I can't believe it. Just a little hummingbird just sat there. So Tamar, of course, her eyes are swelling up and she's shocked that she can't believe this, right? So she lets him know that, like, oh my gosh, like, my sister died. She said she's going to come back as a hummingbird. And he's like, oh, wow. So they had that moment, and they both shed a little tear. Okay, a lot of people were like, oh my God, like, I don't know, y'all. It just felt too convenient for me. Like, granted, I'm glad if that was really Tracy giving, Tamar a sign. Because Tamar in her confessional said, I feel like that was my sister giving me a sign in that moment. Like, that was just crazy. And yeah, that was crazy. Like, I don't know. It just felt too convenient for me. I don't know. Maybe I'm being too skeptical. Let me know what y'all think about that, but what y'all thought about that hummingbird moment. Because I was on the fence. Like, part of me is like, oh, like, that's cool. Like, I believe stuff like that can happen. But I don't know. On the show, it just felt way too convenient. Okay. So, I don't know. Anyway, Tamar also spent some one-on-one time with Gatsby. Gatsby was talking all his nonsense. He's over there trying to rub on Tamar's leg. He's just doing the most. She was like, what is your real name? Like, who's the real you? You seem like you are guarded. Are you trying to protect something? And then he said his real name is Colby. And his parents were together, are still married. They've been married for 28 years, 38 years, something like that. 38 years, I think he said. And so Tamar's like, oh, you feel like you have to live up to that? And he's like, yeah, it's been hard to find someone who I really feel evenly yoked with. And he does let his guard down, and he, I guess, has kind of used Gatsby as a way to protect Colby. But it's like, we want to get to know Colby. Like Tamar said, like, she was like, he can be a lot and it could be too much. And I want to get to know Colby, like all that Gatsby stuff, like he needs to stop. It's too much. And I agree. Like, I feel like he would actually be a decent person if he could let the Gatsby stuff go and just show us Colby and stop feeling like he got to have this alter ego and protect whatever he's trying to protect. So, anywho. So then the ladies get back to the house. They about to talk about their dates, but here come Holly Robinson P because she needs to know the tea. So the ladies, tell Holly Robinson and Pete about their dates. Evelyn lets the girls know that Puff got a foot fetish. They was like, what? good. She also lets us know that she went after Nathan. Nathan is not her typical type. Holly Robinson Pete was like, that's good. She said that Rodney was not her type at all. Tamar was like, really? He fine, no? And then she was like, yeah, but like he was the, quarterback kind of guy. She wasn't here for that, but he grew on her. And so Nivea talked about her date with Mac and what was the guy's name? Michael. Y'all know I want to call him Kevin. And so how she said she can't really pick one is Michael and Mac for her. Tamar talked about how she went on a date with JR, that JR is smooth, and then she's not sure about Mr. Gatsby. Okay, so Holly Robinson Pete lets them know, like, okay, we are going to have the elimination dinner party tonight. You're going to invite the 4 guys who, potentially could go home. So it doesn't matter if they went on a date with them or not, like the 4 that all 3 of you are not feeling. So the ladies had to decide, who's going on the date. So the ladies all get ready. To the dinner party, we see Rayshawn, Tony. Those are the 2 men who did not get asked on a date. And then we also see Gatsby and Nathan, who are 2 men who did get asked on a date. Nivea's Michael and Mac, they did not come to the dinner. Okay, so what's his name? Rodney tells the fellas, like, have a drink. This is your last chance to like really show the ladies what you got. Ladies will be down soon. And so like basically y'all have been asked here because the ladies are not sure if they want to continue this process with you. Ladies come down soon, get your drink on. So Gatsby was like, me and Tamar had a good day. He don't really know why he there. Nathan kind of is like, I feel like my place with Evelyn is good. He feels solid. So everyone's talking, mingling. The ladies come down. The ladies look pretty. I really liked Evelyn's outfit. What's her name? So all of the guys and the girls are talking in the kitchen. And so Tamar noticed the necklace that Rayshawn had on it. She was like, what did I say? Shayla? What? And then he was like, oh, yeah, the necklace. He's like, it's the name of my oldest daughter. She passed away. And he's like, I don't want to damper the mood or nothing. But yeah, so I wear the necklace. And she was like, oh my God. So all the ladies were really touched by that. And I would love to hear more of that story as well. Something is very intriguing about that Rayshawn. If we can get past that here. So, Evelyn took Rayshawn outside and they were talking. And so he said he's a 3-time war vet. He said you guys can go hiking and stuff like that. She was like, oh, good. So you ain't going to be at the club because I'm not either. So he was like, yeah. She's like, oh, so you've been in combat? He's like, yeah, I've been in combat. I've been hurt in combat before. She's like, oh my God, you've been shot before? And he was like, yeah. And she's like, oh, tell me what happened. And so he didn't want to get into it. He was like, no, I can't really get into that because it kind of will change, his mood and his mindset. So, I imagine he probably went through some kind of PTSD and he can't really just talk about those things in and out like that. So, but I think Evelyn was really touched by his story. And so then she really had compassion for him. Later on, we see Evelyn and Nathan kind of talking outside. We did see Evelyn and Tony talk, and Evelyn was like, okay, so what happened with your ex-wife and all that? Because Tony said he left his ex-wife at the altar twice, which was like, what? So Evelyn was like, yeah, Tamar was kind of thrown off by that. Like, as women, you got to understand. So he said so the first wedding, I guess, was at the Justice of the Peace. He couldn't get off work. I'm like, who gonna run themselves down to Justice of the Peace? Like, I'm not gonna run down to the courthouse and pray you make it off work to come marry me. Like, no, we gonna both have the day off. We gonna work it out. Like, no. He said he had to marry her because she was pregnant, basically. So the marriage was not built on any kind of good foundation, and they're good with the co-parenting, but that's it. Now, did he also stand her up at the official ceremony in front of all the people too? Because, Tony, sir, I'm glad he went home. I agree. I totally agree with the choices of who went home. You need to go. You need to go. Inside, we saw Rayshawn talking to Nivea. Nivea was talking about, we're all successful women. Some men are insecure. They can't handle that. Rayshawn was like, no, like, if I'm winning, you winning, I'm winning. Like, I'm good if my woman is winning. Like, he's not intimidated by that at all. We also saw Tamar talking to Nathan in the kitchen, and I don't know how Nathan got on the topic, but that's when so the second time I watched it, I kind of peeped what was Nathan's issue at the party, and we're going to get to that. So Nathan had been drinking a lot of that champagne, y'all, and I ain't making no excuse for him. So he was, because out the blue, and unless they chopped it up really crazily, but out the blue, he's telling Tamar, like, sometimes, you know, you got to show people different sides of you, because some people, you know, take things the wrong way, or they don't think you have this side. Like, you got to get hood, you got to get hood, you got to do this, you got to do that. And he was like, but you know, you got to know when to show those things. And he said, like, me, I went to Harvard. And she's like, oh, you went to Harvard? She's like, well, that's good information to know. And that is, Nathan went to Harvard. Okay, Nathan. So then we see Tamar sitting down on the sofa talking to Colby, aka Gatsby. And she was like, you know, like the other day, the day when we were talking, I feel like, you know, you are, you know, putting up a protective shell. Like, tell me about the hurt and the heartbreak you've been through. And he was like, yeah, I was in a relationship with a woman. I forgot for how long. And basically, like, you know, as I was getting closer to meeting my goals and aspirations, she started to get more insecure. And she started to pull back more, and he didn't understand like why she was feeling that way as he continued to climb to reach his dreams. And so that really hurt him. And then she was like, oh, I could totally relate to that. And she was like, I knew it was some kind of hurt there based on talking to you yesterday. And I knew that, you know, you were using your personality as a protective mechanism. And like, I don't know, she kind of told him without telling him in that moment, like, it could be too much. And Tamar let us know in the confessional, like, the way Gatsby is like, you know, you always trying to, you know, show people and you're the most obnoxious person in the room. And she was like, I'm past that. Like, I used to be like, just like him, and I can't do it. And so I was like, oh, now when she said that, I was like, oh, Tamar has really grown. Because remember on Braxton Family Values, y'all, Tamar was so obnoxious and annoying. she's entertaining, but it was like too much. And you could tell, like, she's tailored it back. She's still the same entertaining, but she is not nearly as obnoxious as she used to be. And the fact that she recognized that in Gatsby was really interesting to me. And so, yeah, that would not work. Tamar and Gatsby would not work because that's like, it's too much. Tamar needs more of a calming personality because she's already at Gatsby's level. They don't know. Doesn't work. So she was like, yeah, I don't know, that's going to be too much for us ladies. That's too much. So then outside, we saw Evelyn and Nathan talking. And so, you know, talking about the New York stuff. And then here comes Rashawn. So she was telling Rashawn to come over there. And so Nathan was like, who's that coming over there? And she's like, oh, your boy. And then they were like, oh, yeah, they vibe and whatever. And so she's like, oh, you guys are bonding in the process or whatever. And they're like, oh, yeah, this is my guy, da-da-da. And so I think it was Rashawn said that, oh, yeah, like, he's my guy, but, you know, I'm going to have to wipe his tears away when he gets sent home and, you know, and he loses you. And so then, I don't know what happened, what switch went off in Nathan. I don't know if the producers whispered something in his ear earlier on. Like, what happened? But Nathan was like, oh, man, please, like, look at you. Like, you not even nothing. Look at you, your suit not even tailored. Like, don't even come up here talking like that, trying to be the funny guy. Look at your nails. Your nails are not even clean. Rashawn was like, you can see that over there? I was cracking up, y'all. And so then he was like, yeah, look at you. He's like, I've had these eyes for 37 years. Of course, I can see that. He's like, we not even cut from the same cloth, brother. We not even cut from the same cloth. Like, don't come over here trying to be funny guy and opening your mouth and all this stuff. And I was like, everybody was looking like, Tamar was coming out the back door looking crazy. Evelyn was looking crazy. Rashawn was looking crazy. And I was sitting at home on my bed looking crazy. Because I don't know where that came from. But when I watched the episode the second time through, y'all, and I noticed he started acting real different when he was hitting that champagne. Now, granted, he was hitting it at the masquerade party. But I don't think he got into no altercations. But down to the elimination dinner, he got real crazy, y'all. To the point where Evelyn was like, hey, why don't you go take a breather, take a walk? And she was like, ooh, red flag. Evelyn said she ain't doing the beef no more. And I was like, yeah, that's a huge red flag. Nathan. I really liked Nathan, y'all. He totally disappointed me. He definitely got some kind of anger issues. Like, what is going on, sir? So anyway, y'all, yeah, that was very disappointing. Like, Rashawn didn't deserve all that and didn't need all that. Like, why are you mad? It's a competition. Like, what is happening? And it didn't sound like he was trying to make it sound like he was better than Rashawn. Talking about we cut from a different cloths and all that. Like, sir, who are you? That's why you going home. Anyway, so they get down to the dinner part of the dinner party, right? And so first, Rodney and Holly Robinson was just sitting there without the guys saying, you know, you got to make your decision. They basically like, you know, I thought I was going to go one way, but now after tonight's event, it's going a whole different way for me. Evelyn said, I really, you know, am compassionate about Rashawn and what he went through. So the men come sit at the table, and Holly Robinson and Rodney let them know, like, you know, tonight, 2 of you men are going to be ending your journey here, and the ladies are going to let you know what they're feeling. And so, Evelyn let Rashawn know that, like, she really felt compassion about what he went through. You know, the hair's a lot, but you staying. Okay, so Rashawn get to go. He said he's going to step his game up. So then the ladies spoke about Tony. I believe it was Nivea. And they basically let him know, like, he's not their king. He's gonna say in the confessional, like, oh, you know, maybe I shouldn't have told the ladies about the situation with my ex-wife, but if they can't handle what I got going on, then that's okay. If that's fine. Too bad for them. Like, bye, Tony, bye. You're not even a zaddy. Goodbye. So then it was left with Nathan and Gatsby. So I was Gatsby, just go by Colby. Like, what's wrong with the name Colby? Anyway, so it was those two left. And so Tamar was like, you know, it's really hard to have this conversation because I don't want you to feel like anything, you know, you went through or discussed, like, is an issue or anything. But I feel like, you know, I want to get to know the real you. And you use this Gatsby thing to kind of hide beside something and put a wall up. And I want to get to know the real you. So Gatsby looked like he's sitting there sweating bullets. He like, can I take a sip of water? And he took him a sip of water, y'all. So anyway, then he went to Nathan, and they were like, yeah, Nathan, you know, really cool. You know, Nivea's like, you've accomplished so much at a young age, but, you know, they were talking about, you know, you might have some anger issues you need to work out, some hidden anger issues. And so ultimately, they let Nathan go home. You're not our king today. What's her name? Evelyn said in her confessional, like, hey, you know, when people show you who they are, you got to believe them. Like, she's like, she don't want to make excuses for people anymore. When they show them red flags, they show them red flags. And he definitely showed a red flag from the very beginning. Like, he needed to go. Like, I feel like the 2 men that went home, Nathan and Tony, were definitely the ones that needed to go home. I'm willing to give Gatsby another chance, but I have a feeling he ain't going to last too long, y'all. So they let Gatsby know, like, okay, just open up, show the real you. Holly Robinson, he was like, well, you made it through the first dinner. She said it like she was shocked he made it through that dinner, y'all. And then he was like, oh, for real? Like, can I go back in the house now? So then they let him go. Gatsby is a fool. So anyway, and I get the vibe that he might be there just to make TV. So that's the other reason I feel like he needs to go also. But I'm okay with saving him for tonight because Nathan and Tony definitely could not be saved. And Rashawn deserved another chance. But can we do something else with that hair, Rashawn? Can we put it in a ponytail? Can we cut it? What can we do? So the Pete's let them know, like, you know, this is the only beginning. Next week, we're going to have 7 new men, and you're going to get to know them. So next week's episode, or episode 2, because we ain't got to go to next week, it's going to be more men. Y'all let me know what y'all thought of the episode. Do y'all agree with the ladies' choices of who stayed and who went home? Like I said, I'll just keep doing episode by episode for y'all. So look forward to the next episode. Don't forget to like, comment, subscribe, and share. And I'll talk to y'all soon. Bye.